Hi, my dear kids. How are you all? I'm back with another interesting story. This story is called Father and Son. It is a page from Indian history. This story is from Chandamama Stories 2007 January edition. King Ghiyasuddin reigned for 31 years. His death is one of the most brutal and pathetic episodes in the history of Mandu. And yet, it also shows how no one can get away with an evil deed and ultimately has to pay the price of sin. When Ghiyasuddin became king, he immediately yielded full power to his eldest son Naziruddin because he wanted a quiet life for himself. Naziruddin was the exact opposite of his father. He had a harsh temperament and a violent temper that refused to see reason. He drank excessively and thought nothing of killing anyone who did not please him. Once, when he fell into a tank in drunken state and was rescued by his attendants who asked him to be more careful, he was so angry with them for daring to criticize him that he had put them to death. As a result, everyone was terrified of him. Indeed, it is difficult to understand how Ghiyasuddin could remain so blind to his son's faults and yet nominate him as his successor, giving him so much power. Sir, Prince Nazir is not suitable for this responsibility, his advisers told Ghiyasuddin again and again, but he refused to listen. He wanted to enjoy himself quietly and did not want the responsibility of looking after a kingdom. He is young yet, he told them glibly. Give him a chance. I am sure he will rise to the occasion when his time actually comes. But it is not wise to give him so much power. They warned him. It won't hurt him, said Ghiyasuddin. After all, he will be king someday. Let him get used to it. Unfortunately, Ghiyasuddin had to pay dearly for his mistake. Naziruddin enjoyed all the powers of a king and did whatever he pleased, and yet he bitterly resented the presence of his father, now slowly getting aged. He wanted Ghiyasuddin out of the way because he was not satisfied with merely enjoying the advantages of being the uncrowned king. He was quite crazy to sit on his father's throne and listen to people addressing him, Your Majesty. Twice he tried to poison his father. Knowing that Ghiyasuddin did not drink alcohol, he mixed it in a glass of fruit sherbet. Go and give this to the king. Tell him I have made it especially for him. But his attempt failed because all kings carried a poison antidote, Zahar Muhra, with them in those days. So did Ghiyasuddin. Moreover, Nazir's hatred for his father was so obvious that Ghiyasuddin realized what he was after and threw away the poison sherbet on both occasions. Finally, Nazir decided to take destiny into his own hands and carried the cup of poison himself. What is it, Nazir? Asked Ghiyasuddin, surprised to see his son in his room. As a rule, he never went near his father. Why did you not drink the sherbet I sent you earlier? He asked angrily. But I did, said Ghiyasuddin. I don't believe you, said Nazir. Anyway, you are going to drink this sherbet right now, and I won't leave this room until you do. Ghiyasuddin looked at his son and read the greed and ambitions in his eyes. But despite knowing everything, he wanted to protect his son from the sin of being his father's murderer. He took the cup from Nazir. Then he slowly took off the Zahar Muhra from his arm and threw it on the floor. He knelt down for the last time, breathed his last prayer to God. O Lord Almighty, my time has arrived, and I have passed my years in prosperity and happiness rarely attained by any king. Now, since this is my last prayer, I beg on my knees that thou shalt not blame my son Nazir as my murderer, that thou shalt take my death as something destined by thee and will not avenge it. After speaking these words, he drank the cup of poisoned sherbet in one gulp and delivered his soul to his creator. This episode has been taken from the memories of Jahangir, who nearly felt the pathos of the situation and the utter shamefulness of Nazir's conduct. He also writes about how Sher Afghan felt about it. When Sher Afghan came back to the tomb of Naziruddin during his reign, he ordered the tomb to be beaten up with sticks because of what Nazir did to his father. Jahangir, who loved his own father dearly, adds, When I went to Nazir's tomb, I too gave it several kicks. Was Nazir punished for his sin? Indeed he was, because ever since he crowned himself on November 20, 1590, he had a miserable time. All his time was spent in attending to domestic feuds. His guilty conscience gave him no peace. Having killed his own father, he suspected his own sons of similar design. He treated them so badly that his eldest son Shihabuddin went away to Delhi and refused to return to Mandu. Naziruddin contracted a painful disease and died soon after. After his death, his third son Muhammad became the king. Naziruddin had also built one beautiful palace, but it came to be known as Baz Bahadur Palace because Baz Bahadur lived there after he became the king of Mandu. Even now, people call it that. Hardly anyone remembers that it was originally built by Naziruddin, which is good because they associate the palace with a romantic character and not a wicked one. Okay, kids, bye for now. I'll tell another interesting story in another part.